I think very quickly I got home and I started pumping, and I was getting so much milk I couldn't keep up. And then in this whole process, I'm learning like how long can it stay out of the fridge? How long can it stay in the fridge? How long until it needs to be frozen? All of these things. And I was pumping ridiculous amounts.
Hello, and welcome to the Twin Mom Life Podcast. I'm your host, Jess. I created this podcast to help build community, connection, and most importantly, friendships among moms of multiples. Being a twin mom can be amazing and magical. That twin bond is unlike anything I've ever witnessed. But it can also be isolating and overwhelming. I'll be chatting with other twin moms, diving deep into the twin experience, giving advice on what works for us so you don't have to learn the hard way. Juggling two babies at the same time is challenging, but I'm confident we can learn from each other and figure out how to raise these babies together. Hey, Ashley, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. So it is so fun. We have known each other kind of forever.
Yeah, it seems like that since elementary school.
Yes, like third or fourth grade, I want to say.
I think it was fourth.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
That's a
So
long time.
it is a really long time, and it's been fun to stay in touch and watch you also be a twin mom. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a twin mom. So I lived in California. I've known Jessie Lee since we were little itty bitty tots ourselves. Anyways, I met my husband in high school and we have been together ever since. It's been 20 years now, married 11.
Amazing.
And yes, awesome. We decided to move across the country. So we now currently live in Oklahoma and we have twins and 4 dogs.
So that's perfect. And your girls just turned 3.
They did. They just turned 3 on Saturday.
That is so wild. So your girls are almost exactly 6 months older than my boys.
Okay. When's their
So
birthday?
in June, they'll be 3 in June. So it was so helpful to have you, a twin mom, as a mentor 6 months ahead of me.
Mm.
And you were instrumental in my pumping journey. But before we get into that, I know we talked a little bit about our days, and I feel like we both had kind of off days.
Oh,
But
yeah.
was there something that happened today that filled your cup, or maybe something you're going to do later to fill your cup?
Well, I'm always doing things for myself to fill my cup. I have a brow appointment next week. I have a nail appointment next week. I do try to stay on top of taking care of myself to make myself feel better. I do focus on getting ready every morning and that kind of lifts my spirits. Any day that I have ever chosen not to get up or not get ready and put makeup on and stay in PJs all day is literally the worst day ever. So I
Hmm.
just don't do it. And if I take the time to do those things, and my husband appreciates it. He likes me looking good when he comes home, so, and then just little stuff, like I said, I'll try to either get help so I can go get my nails done, or I'll see if my husband's gonna be home from work so I can go run and walk every aisle at Target just 'cause even if I need nothing, that just helps me, like, de-stress from being stuck at home with children all day.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it feels good to take care of yourself. And I agree, the days that I put on clothes and some makeup, I just feel better and I guess more confident. So
Yeah,
I love that. And making time for
100%.
yourself is so important. So thank you for sharing.
When you're a stay-at-home mom, it's just such a constant, like, taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, taking care of the laundry, so it's like you need those setbacks to kinda help yourself reset in a sense, so
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like every time that I take time to do something for myself, I just am a better mom. Like I don't get burnt out
Right.
as easily and it just feels, yeah, I just feel like a better mom. So,
I agree. Yeah.
yeah, that's so, so great. So, I am going to go on a date with my husband tonight and I'm so excited.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
exciting.
it'll be really great.
Very cool.
He has had the same truck for like 11 years. It didn't even have a backup camera. It was like getting pretty old.
Oh
So he
gosh.
got I know, right? So he got a new truck like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I had been
Nice.
in it one time. So he's like, "I need to take you out on a date in my new truck." And I'm like, "Yeah, you
Very
do."
cool.
So we're going tonight. So that'll be
That's
fun.
wonderful.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So that's how I'm gonna fill my
Date
cup
nights are
later.
very important. There
Yeah,
you go.
and, with little kids, it doesn't happen as often as I would love, but my mom is so great,
For sure.
and we try to go on a date. It doesn't happen every month, but that we try to do, like, once a month or once every 2 months, so
That's awesome. Yeah, I can say the same. My cup is filled every week because my in-laws are so gracious to take the kids every Saturday night so that we have a date night every Saturday night.
oh, that's
So,
so
I'm so very
great.
lucky for that. They just moved here about 6 months ago with us, and that's just been such a blessing. I The first 2 years of the kids being alive, though, I had no one. They would come visit, but it was for a month at a time, and then they were gone again. And so, how I survived, I do not know, and how I'm surviving now is just day and night different.
Oh, for sure. Well, I feel like my biggest hack is grandparents.
Yeah,
Having
100%.
having that help is just so great, and, my parents live on the same property as us, and it's just so helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, obviously, your girls are identical. So, were you guys, like, so shocked at the first ultrasound?
Yes. So, after listening back to your podcast, I feel like I kinda had the same reaction as you. So, backstory, like you, I knew nothing about twins. I didn't know that this was possible, and so it was a lot, and my husband never wanted kids. So, the whole moving to Oklahoma was, "Okay, I agree, we'll have one, we'll slow down, we'll change our lifestyle, this and that." Well, we moved here in November, December of 2021, and we, started a business in, like, February or March of 2022, got pregnant by May of 2022. So, like, we came here to slow down, and we sped things up, not knowing that we're having twins yet.
Sure.
So, just crazy, like, a lot happened, but anyways, yeah. So, my story's a little crazy because I had just started my job, my insurance hadn't kicked in yet, I knew I was pregnant because I had the missed, period, and then I was like, "Well, I wanna get in," like, I was so excited, it was my first time, so I found, like, one of those ultrasound tech places here in Tulsa, and I was like, "I'll just sign up for that, it's 70 bucks, whatever, cheaper than paying $600 for a doctor to confirm that I'm pregnant." And so then we go to that appointment. Luckily, Aaron was with me because he would not have believed me, and she for 10 minutes sitting there with the ultrasound scanner on my belly, like, "Oh, there's your baby, there's the heartbeat, this and that." And then she shifts it over, like, on the right side of my belly, and she goes, "Oh, there's a second heartbeat," like, all nonchalant, and I was like, "What?"
You're like, "Is that
And even
mine or"
my husband's like was like, "Wait, what?" And then I so am bummed because I was recording and I stopped recording, I don't know why, I wish I would've just continued the recording just to hear my laughter because I couldn't but, like, I let out a laugh that I've never heard come out of my body before. It was just insane, and my husband's like, "How is that possible?" We were both just, like, stunned, and then she was showing us pictures on the ultrasound, like, "Yep, there's a baby, here's 2 heartbeats." It was insane. And then it kinda got a little negative, which was sucky in a sense, but I kinda tried to look past it. But anyways, the girl said, "I'm not a doctor, I'm not allowed to really say anything, but it does kinda look like there's 1 sac." Like, she
Hmm,
wasn't seeing the 2 sacs. And so, I knew nothing. I didn't know what any of this meant. I was like, "You're speaking Spanish to me, like, whatever." And so
sure.
then Aaron is over there Googling, da 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 da, like, and then I just wanna leave this place and tell my in-laws instantly. Like, I just wanna send them a picture and tell them, "You're not gonna believe this." And so I did. I'm, like, sending the picture. They're not believing it. They're like, "That's a lie." Aaron's like, "Don't get too excited. This could be bad." Because he starts looking up I think it's dye. I still don't even know the difference between
So
all the
I have
twins.
die twins.
What's the one that they're both in 1 sac and 1 placenta?
So Momo is 1 sac, 1 placenta,
That's okay.
which is, like, super high risk.
High risk, yes. That's what he had in the back of his mind. I'm over here, like, excited I'm about to have 2 babies. And so then his in-laws are calling me like, "Wait, what? What?" Like, just flabbergasted. Nobody even knew what to say. And so then after that, we're like, now we're kind of freaked out. We need to get into a doctor's appointment. So then we booked a doctor's appointment, and my doctor said the same thing. I can't really see the second sac. I'm gonna send you to a specialist. But then I found the worst OBGYN I could possibly find. She had terrible bedside manner, just not like a positive lady. And so she was like, "Oh yeah, I don't really see a second sac. I'm going to send you into a specialist. But here's how it's going to go if that's the case. You're going to be admitted into the hospital at 24 weeks. You're going to be stuck there until you have the babies." And I was just, it was so negative. Me and my mother-in-law left that doctor's appointment crying our eyes out.
Oh.
It was just a mess. 2 weeks go by. I'm a mess for 2 weeks. And then I see the specialist and he sees the secondary sac. So we had 2 babies, 1 placenta, 2 sacs, so they're Mo-Di. A lot of stress came off my shoulders after hearing that. And then from that point forward, just like you, I mean, I had tons of appointments between my OBGYN and my specialist all the way to the end, but no problems. Everything was, I mean, couldn't have been more perfect than it was. They were the healthiest, no issues. I had the testing done and everything came back perfect. So that's such a blessing for sure.
That is all such a relief that they were Mo-Di and not Momo. So how far did you make it
Yes.
until?
I same as you, 37 weeks. So
Great.
I was scheduled on the dot. The day I had them was 37 weeks.
Oh, that's
And I
fantastic.
did so that was another thing for me that I was torn on, was having them naturally or having them via C-section. I was being torn both ways. I had my OBGYN pushing for a C-section, I feel like, of course, and then I had the specialist, the high-risk specialist saying, "Have them naturally. If there's no complications, if they're facing the way they need to be, have them, why wouldn't you?" And then I was
Sure.
just so like, oh. But then I just was like, we got this lucky, we got this far. C-section's probably the safest way in case there was an emergency or whatever, like, just we already know it's happening, let's cut them out and be done with it. And then I remember getting wheeled back. I was out of surgery getting wheeled back to the recovery room, and I hear a lady screaming, "I can't do this," and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I couldn't have done it. I'm
I
so
made the
glad I had
right
a
choice.
C-section."
Well, I will tell you, I think my doctor was so open to it because mine were die. So it's a little
Okay.
bit less risky. Like I was technically high risk because I have a blood clotting disorder. And
Right, okay.
so that was a big thing. And I think she was also open to it because I was more open to it because I had my daughter vaginally,
That way. Mhm.
where if I didn't have a singleton first and this was all I knew, I'm not sure what I would have done.
Right.
So, but having that prior experience, I feel like changed what I wanted to try to do if it was safe?
I always thought, like, I want to deliver naturally, and I want my baby on my chest right away, and I want all these things that are supposed to happen, and then as soon as I found out I was having twins and then this was gonna be the route, I was like, "It's not gonna happen." But they still gave me my babies pretty quickly. I mean, they showed them to me, and then they kinda cleaned them up and handed them back over, and then they took them again till I was back in the recovery room. But um, I know what you were saying about, like, that room being so scary. I was crying walking into the hospital. I was terrified. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, your body goes into a full-blown shock, and then you're cut open, and these babies come out of you, and then you're into another state of shock. It was crazy, just crazy, and I feel like I barely even remember any of it.
Yeah, it's all a lot. And I think I mentioned this
Yes.
in one of my last podcasts is I have some pictures of my delivery with the boys that a nurse took,
Yes.
which was so nice, but I can't even look at the pictures because I look terrified because I was just really overwhelmed. And I think overall it was a good experience. There wasn't anything crazy that happened. Like Waylon had swallowed
Mhm.
a little bit of amniotic fluid, so he had to have some testing because of that, but it wasn't anything like emergent. So overall it was a good
Mhm.
experience. It was just overwhelming. And were there like a million people in the room with you too?
if I recall, there it seemed like there and I didn't have, like, people training or whatever, but it seemed like there was 2 of everybody in there. It seemed like a lot. And I mean, I think because of 2 babies, like 2 nurses, 2 doctors, I don't know, but it was yeah, it was a lot.
Sure, and, like, the NICU team is probably all there and, you know
Right. I think they do, they kinda just automatically prepare for that kinda stuff, and I only had one baby had, like, low blood sugar, so I think they took her back to the NICU for, like, an hour. I didn't even notice she was gone, to be honest, 'cause it was, like, in the time frame that they, were stitching me up and getting me back to recovery, I had already had my baby back, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, she was in NICU, but she's done now," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, that's
I didn't even
amazing.
know it. Yeah, my mother-in-law was freaking out the whole hour or 2 that she was in there, though, 'cause, they're sitting in the waiting room like, "Where's the baby?" Like, all scared, but she's perfect.
That's what happened with the boys too. Like, they never had NICU
Mhm.
time, but they were always, like, borderline with their glucose, like, their blood sugar
Right.
was always kind
Right.
of low, which is actually how I started pumping. So, I
Mhm.
remember them saying, like, "Mama, when you're breastfeeding, I don't know if they're getting anything, like, if maybe your milk hasn't come in yet or if they're, like, just too small or too weak or too sleepy or whatever." So, I actually started pumping in the hospital, and I had never really pumped. I think I pumped, like, twice with Kaya, like, for fun.
Mhm.
I didn't need to.
Right.
We had a difficult breastfeeding journey in the beginning. She had tongue ties, I got mastitis, but once that was fixed, our breastfeeding journey was honestly amazing, and I breastfed her for, like, 15 months. It was so great. So, that was my hope is that I could tandem breastfeed the boys, and that was, like, so hard.
No.
It was so hard. So, I immediately started pumping in the hospital, and, like, the hospital provided a pump for me. I got home and I was like, "Where is my pump?" The tubing part of my pump I was missing, and I'm like, "I need to pump." Like, right when we got home, I needed to pump. My
Mhm.
boobs hurt, and I was, like, afraid of losing my milk production. So my dad is the one that went out to Target and bought me a pump. I was like, "Buy
Ugh.
anything. I just need something now." And then you were amazing. Like, at that point, you were posting about your breastfeeding journey with your girls and how you were exclusively pumping, and you taught me everything. So
Mm.
I'm just so thankful for you. And could you tell us, like, about your exclusive pumping journey and how you decided to do that?
Yeah, so I'm first, I just wanna say I'm glad I helped somebody because I, again, felt like I was learning a new language with all of that. It was such a mess. Now, granted, I had a friend from back home that was by my side walking me through everything. She was a, can't think of the word right now, a consult for
Oh, like a
breastfeeding.
lactation consultant.
Thank you, thank you. And she was kinda just my saving grace in getting me through everything. So I don't even really know where my brain was with that whole process. I mean, going into the hospital, I had nothing planned. I think I had pumps at home and I had an idea that I wanted to breastfeed, but I wasn't opposed to formula, all these things. Well, in the hospital, not motivated one bit to do any of that. Like the nurses would come in every hour trying to put these babies on me, and I was just like, give them formula. Like, I don't know. I feel kind of bad about that thinking back now because I'm like, I didn't even try. And then I don't know how long it took me once I got home to get on a regular schedule. I think maybe a day or 2, a couple of days, but I had to get the hang of things, and I don't know why, but I wasn't trying to pull my boobs out in front of everybody in the room and trying to do all this. I just didn't feel comfortable. I wanted to be doing it in the privacy of my own home, you know? So anyways, I got home, and I just remember I just got on a schedule with them. I wanted to tandem breastfeed as well, and I realized very quickly that was probably gonna be impossible just because, like you said, they're so little, they fall asleep. I mean, I had the nurses in the hospital trying to help me do those things, and it just wasn't going well. I was also my body had been cut open, I was going through a lot, I was swollen, I was a lot of things. My mind was who knows where, but yeah, I think very quickly I got home and I started pumping, and I was getting so much milk I couldn't keep up. And then in this whole process, I'm learning like how long can it stay out of the fridge? How long can it stay in the fridge? How long until it needs to be frozen? All of these things. And I was pumping ridiculous amounts. And obviously those first, I don't know how long, couple of months, you're up with your babies feeding them. So I was giving them bottles and then sitting there and pumping, and I feel terrible about this too, but I propped their bottles. May not have been the greatest mom move, but I'm a twin mom. How do you hold 2 babies and feed them at the same time? You know?
So that is one thing that I remember is you having a crazy amount of milk. I think you posted something like at their 6-month birthday, like, was it 10,000 ounces?
Oh gosh, I think it was about that. Yeah, I think so. I got to a point too where, like, I couldn't do the middle of the night pumps anymore. I just couldn't. I was so tired, and I was like, "I'm not losing sleep over this, like, I'm not. So if I lose my milk supply, so be it." But I was exclusively pumping, like, they were only getting breast milk, and I remember one morning waking up and my boobs were so rock hard. So I mean, I would love to share a picture with you because 'cause you'd be like, "Oh my gosh." Scary. But, I pumped in that one sitting 32 ounces of milk. It was
Okay,
almost a whole Dr. Brown pitcher of milk. It was insane.
that is the most insane thing ever, and I remember I feel like okay, so I produced a lot of milk in the beginning until I started sleeping through the night. And I remember feeling like a literal cow. And
Yeah.
there was one time okay, so I think my breast pumps, what's normal that it'll hold like in each side, like 8 ounces if you have like the
Mhm.
bigger ones on.
Mhm.
I had that on and it started spilling over.
Mhm. Oh,
Never in
yeah.
my life. I was like, what is happening? And
Yep.
I think I had just talked to you about that because you were like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
I made 32 ounces in one sitting. And I was like, "That's insane. That's like an overproduction of milk,"
Oh,
which is
it's insane.
a great problem to have. Like, your body knew
Right.
there are 2 babies, and we are gonna we are gonna feed these babies. So that
Yeah.
was always so impressive to me, and because you had so much milk, you had a system of how to handle it all. Like you were saying, learning the rules of how long can it be at room temperature? How long can
Yes.
it be in the refrigerator? When do you need to freeze it? Are you pumping every 2.5 hours? Are you doing that through the night? I was so overwhelmed. So I feel like you taught me a lot of things. I think you had 2 sets of pumps, not like
I
the
did.
physical pump, but the pump
Yeah.
that you would attach directly to your breast. You had 2 of those.
Mhm.
So you'd
Mhm.
put one in the refrigerator while you washed the other one, which was
Yep.
brilliant and affordable because it's not like you're buying another mechanical pump. It's just 2 sets
Right.
of pump parts. So I did that and it was fantastic. And obviously, this is not medical advice. We are not lactation consultants.
No.
This is just what twin moms did to survive, and it worked. And then, yeah, you told me about these like huge Dr. Brown pitchers that has like, what do you call
A
that thing? That
mixer. Like a
yes,
mixer, a stirrer.
that's a perfect that has the built-in mixer because the fat of the breast milk settles
Yep.
at the top, and you want to mix that in because you want your babies to
Yes.
get that. So everything that I think you sent me like a 10-minute video of your system. Like,
Mhm. I
here's my
think so.
pumping parts, here's what I do in the fridge. And then you would you'd get all the bottles ready for the next day.
Yep.
I went over this system with my husband to be like, okay, check this out. Here are the bottles in the fridge, like if you're doing a feeding or whatever. And he's like, this is legit. And like, right? This is like
Uh,
a real pumping system. And it felt like in the middle of the chaos of having newborn twins, it was like one thing that I could kind of control.
right. Yeah. I still don't know how I I did that or how I managed it, but just like you were saying, I mean, I did. I prepped all the bottles for the next day, and then any excess I had over, I just froze it because you can't hold on to it for too long because then it'll go bad, and it just wasn't worth it. I ended up pumping exclusively for 10 months, and then I think I kinda got lazy about it because I just got to a point where I felt like, "It's taking away time from my babies. I'm having to be posted up over here pumping while they were starting to crawl. I'm like, "I can't do this anymore while they're crawling." Like, before it was easy, they just laid there. Then it
Mhm.
got to a point where they were moving, and I'm like, I wanted so badly to make it to 12 months, but I just couldn't. My body was, like, barely producing half an ounce at 10 months, and I was like, "I'm not doing this anymore. Drying up." And then luckily, I had so much overstock in the freezer, I actually did essentially make it to 12 months, but I did half breast milk, half formula because I had high lipase, is that how you say it?
Oh,
Uh,
that's right.
in the
Okay,
milk?
high lipase. I think that's how you say it. And does it make it taste not as sweet, or what
Terrible.
exactly is that?
Terrible. So, I did, vanilla extract, half breast milk, and half formula for them to drink it, because otherwise they wouldn't. And they wouldn't drink it with just I tried to do straight breast milk with vanilla extract, and it didn't work. So I was like, "Okay."
Was that the whole time, or did that happen towards the end?
I think that was all my breast milk was bad.
Okay. Well, that is so
Mhm.
frustrating to put all of that work into
I know.
it and then them
Mhm.
potentially reject it or something because
Uh-huh.
of the flavor. So that's so
Yeah.
interesting. So if you have high lipase, you can add vanilla
Yes, and
extract.
I think it's an alcohol-free vanilla because I didn't know
Okay.
vanilla has some kind of alcohol in it, but I got it at Trader Joe's and it worked. I mean, just a drop. It centralized that taste for them and they were able to take it. So
Okay.
I essentially made it for a year. Right those last 2 months I had to do half and half, but we made it. I think I still have this much left in my freezer. What the heck am I hanging on to it for? I do not know, but can't let
Well,
it go.
you know what? Nothing is wrong with that. And you worked really hard to do that.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And
it's
I feel like
crazy.
I had a similar issue, like around 3 or 4 months when I started sleeping a slightly longer stretch at night. Like, for a while, I
Mhm.
pumped every 2.5 hours through the night. So,
Mhm.
eventually, when I started sleeping a 6-hour stretch or whatever, I noticed a massive decline in my
Yeah.
milk production, and that was hard, especially being fortunate to make enough for both boys for at least 3 or 4 months, and then we did start supplementing formula, and I haven't talked about this yet, and maybe I could even do a whole podcast on it, but around it must have been around 5 months, so the boys were diagnosed with a cow's protein allergy. So it was around the 4-month mark
Oh.
that we started formula, and we were using, of course, like a cow's milk-based formula, and everything seemed fine, and then the boys were always really small, but they really, stopped gaining weight, and at one point, Waylon had blood in his stool, and we were like, "What
Oh.
is happening?" So my whole point of saying this is all the milk that I had pumped and froze, they told me I could no longer use because I had eaten dairy.
Oh,
So it
no.
was like a massive hit. So all of the milk that I pumped, I was eating dairy. And at first I was like, "Oh, I don't eat dairy. I don't drink milk." And she was like, "Well, do you use butter? Do you use creamer in your coffee? And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh." And she was like, "What about cheese?" I'm like, "Okay, I definitely eat." I was just thinking like milk specifically. So that
Right.
was hard because I had a lot of milk that we couldn't use. So I used them for like milk baths and stuff. But
That's good.
after pumping for that long and then not being able to use it was that
Super
really
frustrating.
sucked. Uh huh. Yeah, that was hard.
I think my biggest fear was having a freezer full and having the electricity go out, and I was like, "What will I do?" Luckily, it never happened, but that was one of my biggest fears. I'm sure it's happened to people.
So did you have to get a deep freezer that was like
Oh, I
just for
did.
your breast
Uh-huh.
milk?
Uh-huh. Yes, I did.
That's
Who
fantastic though.
who would have ever thought I'd go out and spend $200 on a deep freezer for breast milk? So crazy.
That is a good problem to have though.
Yeah, for sure. I almost got to a point where I thought, "Should I donate it?" Like, but I mean, luckily I didn't not because I used it till the end, but I think I even tried to I used it I used it gone. I used it till the last bag, and, I think I might have gone a little after 12 months, I'm not sure, but just doing the half and half, so
And I don't know this number for me personally, but do you know how much milk you pumped, like, while you were exclusively pumping?
I wish I would have looked this up before.
We can add it in the show notes.
Yeah, I forget the exact amount.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, I was being a creeper and looked back at your Instagram to, look and
Uh-huh.
see, I don't know, like, pictures of the girls when they were younger and stuff, and I saw the picture of the 6-month post, like, their half birthday or
Yes.
whatever, and I'm,
Uh-huh.
like, 95% positive that it said 10,000 ounces, and that was when they were
I
only
think that's
6
right.
months,
Yeah, I think that's right. And I continued pumping, yeah,
and you
for another
continued
4.
pumping after that, so it's
Mhm.
definitely over 10,000 ounces, even if your milk
I'm
supply went down.
yeah. I wanna say it almost was like 13,000 ounces, which I think was like 123 gallons of milk, and, like, if you just think about that, that's insane.
Absolutely. That is
So wild. I'm so bummed. I wanted to do another one of those pictures at 12 months, but I didn't make it, and then it was cold that time of year, so it wasn't I wasn't putting them in a cute bath in the backyard, it was that picture was fun, though. I'm glad I did at least that.
Yeah, absolutely, it's so cute. Okay, did you ever spill milk?
Oh. My husband and I were just talking about this the other day. I was so sleep deprived. I would fall asleep on the bed, sitting up, pumping, and I'd be overflowing in the bottles all over the bed. My husband would, like, turn over and wake me up and be like, I would wake up with a huge puddle under me, and I'm like, "Oh, that was a waste." So much milk all the time. I've left it, on the counter and, like, knocked the bottle over, like, everything you could think of. Woo. And it's devastating, but yet, like, I was sitting there making so much, it really wasn't that big of a deal, but I would just be like, "Oh gosh, no." But it is, it's so much work. It's like you dedicate so much time and effort to pumping all this milk, and then if one drop drips on the ground, you're like, "Great."
Absolutely, and during that time, you're also so sleep deprived, and it's
Ugh,
harder to handle things when you're tired. I remember
100%.
my mother-in-law was staying with us at the time, and I had just pumped, and I was, like, going to pour the pumped milk into the big pitcher, and I poured one side, and I went to pour the other side, and, like, I don't even know how it happened, but, yeah, it fell all over the floor, like, maybe
Mhm.
6 to 8 ounces of milk, which at that time was probably 2 bottles for the boys if they
Right.
were both drinking, 4 ounces or whatever, and it spilled all over the floor, and I had an adult temper tantrum. I My mother-in-law was so graceful to me. I was literally like, I mean, every curse word in the book, I was saying it. I was so mad, and
Yeah.
she just came up and rubbed my back and cleaned it and didn't even, like, acknowledge that I was, like, cursing the spilled milk. She was so kind to me.
I had another moment that, I had to have a surgery done, I think 3 months into having the girls. I don't even remember what it's called now at this point, but I had a lump on my wrist, and it was very painful to move my wrist around. They had to go in and remove the lump. I don't know if
Oh
it's called, like, a
gosh.
lipoma or something. It
Okay.
came from pregnancy, I presume. That's what they told me anyway. Anyways, long story short, because I was going in and going under for that, they told me my breast milk was no good for, like, I don't know if it was 24 hours or what. So I think I threw away 50, it was a whole huge mason jar of milk. Just I video recorded myself, like, pouring it down the drain. It was, like, such a depressing moment. I was like, and then right after I did that, all my friends at that point, I didn't know this, but they use it for a milk bath, use it for this and that, and I was just like, "Oh, well."
Well, and then it's
So that
hard
kinda
too,
stinks too.
because then you have to label it, like, "Do not drink, use for
Yeah,
bath."
well, and that was actually in the back of my head too. I think someone had mentioned before I had done it, milk bath. But I was like, I can't risk me putting it in the freezer and then my husband or someone accidentally taking it out and not paying attention and using it. So I was just like, it's just not even worth it.
Sure.
So I tossed it, but that was pretty rough, pretty depressing.
It's so hard. I had one
So
other
rough.
time. So we had, like, our system of, 16 bottles at one time all organized in our garage fridge, and our
Mhm.
garage is, like, concrete. And I think I was, like, holding 2 bottles in one hand, like, funky, and I dropped one and it shattered. I Because we
Oh,
used glass
geez.
bottles. So it shattered all over the garage floor. So that was, like, another
Ugh.
adult tantrum. Because not only did I waste milk, but then
Yeah,
I
you have
had to
glass to
yeah,
pick up. Yeah,
exactly.
never a good day when that happens.
So I absolutely have cried over spilled milk
Spilled
before, but
milk, so have I. Mhm.
but that whole system was so
Uh,
helpful and got me through just a really, challenging time. So I really appreciate.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, absolutely. So how are your girls now? Now they're 3 and
They're 3. They are crazy. They never shut up. I mean, I'm so thankful they don't stop talking, but sometimes I'm like, "Okay, that's enough now." But they are sponges. They listen to everything. I really gotta clean up my verbiage around the house because they like to repeat my bad words, and I'm like, hot sauce, here it comes." That's what I threaten them with now is hot sauce. They're like, "Oh, no, okay." But then what's so funny is they turn around, they hear me say a bad word, and they say, "Mommy, you need hot sauce." I'm like, "Who are these kids?"
oh yeah, we call Kaya, like, the hall monitor because she'll be like, "You need to chew with your mouth closed," or,
Oh.
"We don't do this." Like, she's constantly correcting people, and we're like, "Oh, goodness." She is just repeating what we tell her, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's so funny. Some days they're, like, saying stuff or, telling me things, and I'm like, "Where did you learn that?" Like, "I didn't teach that to you," and they just pick up on so much stuff from books and TV and their surroundings, and it's just mind-boggling to me how quick they're learning, and it's just crazy. But it's so fun, and then it's also so stressful. The tantrums, I think I heard you talking about with someone, it's like the tantrums are out of this world, and they send me over the edge every single day. It's wild. I mean, it's like it's weird. You go through like in the mornings they wake up singing. e- Every morning, singing jingle bells. Like I don't know all the songs they hear on the TV. I'm like every song you can think of, they're just wake up singing, like happy as can be. And then 5 minutes later, we're up out of bed and they're throwing their hands on the floor, screaming, crying because they want a very specific snack and juice, not milk. We're not having juice for breakfast. Like and it's like you can't reason with them. They don't understand. So it's hard. I always have to have like a wusa moment about 20 times a day to bring myself back down to earth before I lose my SHIT. But having their grandparents here now, my in-laws, it's been such a blessing because they help a ton and they love watching the girls. And I'm constantly getting, when they're over there, I'm constantly getting texts all day like, "Oh, and Maddie just said this, Allie just said this." And now I have to be careful if there's stuff I don't want them to know. I have to be careful because they're over there relaying everything. So I'm like, we got to shut the doors around here or something. I don't know. You got to be careful.
That's
No
so funny.
secrets.
So funny and so true.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, they're fun. We're just, we're in a lot of learning stages right now and I'm really trying to work on them with cleaning up their messes. That is like I'm so tired of doing it every night. And it's funny cuz when they were little and they were just like little blobs, I actually enjoyed putting all their toys where they needed to go and I remember recording and like sharing with my everyone's like you're crazy and I'm like, "Yeah, no, I don't do that no more." I
Well,
can't. I shut the door to their
I
playroom. It's too much.
same. I feel like as they get older too, it's like more toys with little pieces,
Yeah.
and
And
it's
you're
just
like, "Oh,
more
heck no."
annoying to clean up,
Yeah.
where when they're infants, it might be like a bigger toy or something, so
Right.
tidying it maybe is more calming, where now it's like there
Heck no.
are 15,000 Legos or tiles
Yeah.
or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, obviously, like, my twins are younger than yours, so I
Mhm.
can't comment on that, but I do have an almost six-year-old, and I promise it gets better. So, if that's any any help.
And it gets better and it gets worse in other ways. Like I keep telling other people and new moms the same thing. I'm just like, "Oh, like, gosh, this is so hard. Gosh, oh, I miss when they were 8 months old because they just sat there and they didn't move. And then they started walking, and I was like, oh, life's over. Like, here you go. Now you're chasing them. But it's just like every stage is a little bit easier, but then also a little bit harder in different ways. It's crazy how much it's ever changing. So I hear 3 is rough. So I'm buckling up and getting ready for that, and I hope not. So I think I don't know if you said that you're potty training your boys right now, are you?
We are, like, kind of. So, maybe, like, 4 months ago, Waylon so they see their sister go potty in the toilet all
Right.
the time, and so I think it's different having, like, an older sibling. So,
Yeah.
one day, Waylon was like, "I wanna go pee in the potty," and I was like, "Okay, like, I'm not ready to potty train you guys right now, but okay, I'm not gonna say no, and he did, he peed in the potty, it was insane. And since that happened, we'll, like, offer it in the morning and offer it, like, after nap and before bath, and they wear pull-ups now, so it's easier to do it. But I guess I'm just not taking potty training as seriously. So, kind of, like, they are I would say they're, like, 50% potty trained because they do go
S
in the potty often, but they still do wear pull-ups and they do pee in their pull-ups, so
so I have one fully potty trained. I mean, may have an accident here and there because she's too busy playing and forgets or doesn't want to go, but, I mean, is in underwear all day, every day. The only thing I would say, and I don't know when this will change or whatever, but we still do, I diapers instead of pull-ups for me. I don't know why, but diapers are easier, and I feel like they're cheaper. Maybe I'm
mm,
crazy, I don't know, but, so we do a diaper at nap time and bedtime, and she's barely wetting those now, so I feel like she's getting close to maybe we can just do a pull-up and be okay. I'm not sure. The other kid, I thought she's gonna see her sister do this, she's gonna be stoked about it, she got a present, she got all these rewards, yada, yada. No want, no interest, no nothing. It's the craziest thing, and, like, I keep asking her, like, "When do you wanna potty train?" She used to say Thursdays, which I thought was hilarious, and so
that
we'd be
is
like,
so funny.
Okay, Allison, it's Thursday. Are you ready to potty train?" "No." And then now we ask her, she says, "No days." Like, no, she's no it's the funniest thing. I'm like, "Dude, you are 3 years old, like, we really gotta buckle down." But it's crazy because Madison was so easy. I mean, woke up one day, "I want a potty." And, like, she wasn't, like, ran around the house naked for, a week, like, it was straight into chonies, and I call them chonies, sorry, everyone's like, "What the" into the chonies, and then, I mean, she was perfect, and then we have a little potty in the truck or in my car that we run her out to if we're out in public. She's not a big fan of the automatic flushing toilets in public
Neither was
restrooms.
Kaya because 'cause they're, like, so loud.
It's so loud, and so we're actually slowly getting over that fear, which is great because it's stressful for me to be out with them, and then she's like, "I have to go potty," and I have to run out to the car.
You know what I've heard? I actually haven't tried this, but I have heard you could, like, bring a sticker or a Post-it and put that over the automated sensor on the
Oh,
toilet, and it won't flush.
I should
So,
try that. That's a good
it's
idea.
worth a shot to see if it
That's a great
works.
idea. Yeah, well, like I said, we're slowly like, I'm slowly like, "Hey, it's okay, it auto flushes, like, look, mommy's gonna use it first," I'm trying to, like, it's not a big deal. But, yeah, and the other one is going to be so hard and so stubborn, and she's going to have to be the naked baby for a week, like, she's the one I won't be able to leave the house with, like, she's gonna be so hard.
Well,
But, like, she grasps, she knows the idea, she knows, I don't know what she's holding back for, it's crazy, but I don't wanna push her and make it worse for myself, so
I will tell you the truth, though, that has been my hesitation, is that one of my boys is absolutely ready and the other one isn't, and I'm not gonna do this twice, like, I
yeah,
wanna
well, and
do
I
it at
said
the
too,
same
I said,
time.
"I'm doing them both at the same time," and that just did not happen for me. And then I kind of feel like one at a time worked out better, but now I'm like, "I want this over now." Like, I don't wanna do this anymore. It's so frustrating, so frustrating.
Yeah, like, with my daughter, I was like, okay, she potty trained pretty early because when she was, like, 19 months old, she literally would take her diaper off and hand it to me and be like, "I went potty." And I was like, "Oh, I feel like I should take advantage of this." And, like,
Yeah,
she was my only kid, so she potty
right.
trained pretty early, but with that came other issues, like, she was pee potty trained by 20 months, I would say, but poop, oh my gosh, it took a long time to do that because
Oh
I think we just did
gosh.
it too early in general. So with the
Gotcha.
boys, I'm like, I guess I'm not taking it as seriously. They're my last babies. I feel like we'll do it. Like they're kind of doing it, but maybe we'll be more serious about it like by the time
Yeah,
they
and
turn
I
3.
feel like they're only 2.5, I know, and
Mm,
I feel like some people were like, "Oh gosh, you're potty training them so early." And I didn't feel like that was early, I felt like that was kinda but also, like, I had one kid that just was ready, like,
mhm,
she was I wasn't forcing it on her, I mean, I wanted to do it, but this other kid, look, we're at 3 and we're not there yet, so, yeah,
sure.
it's crazy how different they are with those stages, but, um, we'll get there, we'll get there.
So different. I feel like both of my boys have done things developmentally at such different times. I mean, in
Yeah,
the grand scheme of their lives, pretty close, but,
mhm.
like months differently, like walking. they were both late walkers. This could be another episode, but one of my boys had like pretty bad torticollis, like when your neck
Oh,
is
wow, yeah,
like
uh-huh.
tight. So he had to go through like physical therapy, and he had a cranial helmet, and he didn't
Okay,
walk until 17 months.
okay.
But my other son walked at 15 months. And honestly, I was thankful to only have one walking at one
Yeah,
time to get used to that. And then they both
yeah.
were walking like later. So,
I feel like both mine kinda took off walking right at the same time at about 14 months. They both were quick on that. So, once that hit, it was over. Game
I know.
over.
I feel like we were saying earlier is like all stages of parenthood are hard in
Yeah,
different ways. Like
yep.
even with Kaya, some things are getting easier, but then it's more of like the emotional side that's
Mhm.
that's interesting.
For sure, for sure.
So if you could have a heart to heart with a twin mom, what would you say or what advice would you give to her?
This is one thing I think I told you, and I tell everyone is, anyone that's having twins, this was the one piece of advice, I wish I could remember who told it to me, is to treat them as one as much as possible, especially at those beginning stages. So, like, I never let one sleep while I was feeding the other. I fed them at the same time. I changed both their diapers and then I put them back down. And staying on that, treating them as one as much as possible schedule allowed me to get some sleep and have some sanity. And even still to today, like, and I do want them to have some individuality and, be their own person, like, I don't want them to be one, They are twins, but they are separate people, but, like, we wake up and we brush our teeth and we go to potty and, we change diapers and change clothes and we get all this stuff done throughout the day together, you know, to try to stay somewhat on a schedule, and so I'm not, like, all over the place, and I think that helped me so much when they were little 'cause I feel like if someone didn't tell me that and I was just like, one was up crying and then I let the other one sleep, then I would have put the other one down and then the other one would have been up crying and I just never got a break. And that helped me so much just through everything.
I totally agree with that in regard to schedule, especially as babies. Because if you don't do that and they are eating at different times or sleeping at
Mhm.
different times, like you said, then you are never getting a break. So that was
Mhm.
super helpful advice from the get go, having them kind of always like I fed them at the same time, they took naps at the same time. Did it always work out perfect?
Exactly. No.
No, but we try to the best of our ability to do that,
Right.
so I
For
think that's
sure.
great advice.
Yeah. Uh, I survived. I'm here 3 years in. We're still doing it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast and giving your insight and advice and tips and your experience and all that stuff.
Yes, and thank you so much for having me and look forward to maybe doing a future one and giving you a little
Yeah,
update and how things have progressed.
absolutely. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy twin mom life to listen along. I hope this podcast shed some light on a topic that's been on your heart and gave you more confidence as a twin mama. If you know a twin mom, please send this her way. If you like what you heard today, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Check out the show notes to be connected with today's guest and get discount codes for brands I love. See you next Thursday. Until then, you were made for this.